Welcome to the Marc The Shark MMA show. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my Twitch channel. And if you can, check out the website as well if you want to be interviewed on a show or even help support the channel by buying a hoodie or a t-shirt. It's at www.markthesharkmmashow.com. You can even go there if you want to sign up and be on the show. And if you can't, go to RitortoFamilyBooks.com and pick up an autographed copy of my book, The Kabbalah Saga Begins, or check out the books my daughter have written. They're also available on Amazon.com. All right, everybody, sit back and enjoy the show. Marc The Shark MMA show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Marc The Shark MMA show live. And today we got a very special guest coming all the way from Ohio, right? His name is Asher.
Sir.
How you doing today, Asher?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Good. You are from Ohio, right?
Yeah.
You had your guess in there. I was guessing myself. I'm just fooling around. I'm in a goofy mood today. So, give us a little information. I know you're an amateur MMA fighter, and you're currently 4-0. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So what else you got for us? Give us a little bit more background. Like, how'd you get started? You got any big fights coming up? Who do you idolize? Let us know. It's all about you, man. This is the show. It's for you to help promote yourself. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I really got into MMA just from being a tough little guy. I mean, I grew up in the hood, and I had to fight. Being the only white guy on the block, I had to fight people growing up. And, that was that. And then when I was about 9, my older brother overdosed on heroin. And then a year later, my mother died. And that really started pushing me to try and actually start training. And I didn't really get into training and fitness and all that and martial arts until I was about 16, and I started wrestling in high school. And then I went and wrestled for a year at Mercyhurst University.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. It's the loss in your life there. Sorry to hear about that. I wasn't expecting that one. Wow. So you started wrestling, and now you're in college now, right?
I was in college. I actually dropped out to pursue mixed martial arts.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is your full-time, your aspirations are to be doing this full-time then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you're off to a good start, 4-0. Right?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah. From what I know, you can turn pro. I mean, I don't know what it's like in Ohio, but like around here, you can turn pro after your 3rd amateur fight. I did hear that I think it's in Missouri. It's still 3-0, but then they also base it on your record too, because they want I guess, as an extra safety measure, they don't want you to be 0-3 and then go pro. Because I'm assuming that's what their logic is. But you're 4-0. Now, like, what organizations have you fought for? Were they like small shows or like pretty big amateur shows by you? I'm not familiar with Ohio at all, just so you know.
I fought on a few Ohio Combat League cards. They're a bit newer. They've been around for about 2 years, but they're starting to get a big boom and pop in the area. I've had 3 of my fights with them, and then there's a promotion down in Myrtle Beach called Ultimate Battlegrounds, and I fought on one of their cards against Baby Hulk, and that was my 3rd fight, and I won that fight by decision.
Okay. Yeah. Isn't that Myrtle Beach? Isn't that in Virginia?
It's in South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, oh wow, that's like a hike for you. So, like from Ohio, how far is that?
I think it was like 10 hours, 10-hour drive.
Oh, you drove?
Yeah. My coach, Josh Williams, my coach, Chad Van Sickle, and a couple of my teammates, Skyler, Hank Hiley, and Caleb Baker, we all carpooled down there.
Okay. Was it did you have a teammate that fought on the same card as you, or they just came just to support you?
My friend Hank Hiley, he fought on the card as well. He actually tore his pec in his fight, but everybody else
Wow.
was just supporting.
Okay. How did he tear his pec? Was it like a submission hold or something? Like,
Well, he got taken down or slipped, and he was in his half guard, and he reached for an underhook, and he used his rear arm to post up. And when he posted up, he said he just felt everything just tear.
wow, that's an odd injury to get. Like, in
Yeah,
combat sports. Usually it would be like in my case, I've had like a separated shoulder or busted knee or jammed fingers and stuff. But yeah, wow. So those 4 fights, like, did you have them like within a year, or is it like 1 a year? Like,
um, my first MMA fight was in October of 2019, and I mean, my last 3 fights I've all had them in 2020.
okay.
Yeah, I
So
had them in March.
If it wasn't for COVID, you probably would have had another 3 fights, right?
Yeah, I
I'm assuming
probably
you
would.
do like 3 fights a year.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So, do you have any big fights coming up at all? I mean, I know it's
Um,
slow with COVID, but do you have anything coming up?
I believe May 15th. I may have something coming up and for Ohio Combat League, but other
Okay.
than that, that's all I've got right now coming up.
And is that another amateur fight or?
Yeah, it's gonna be an amateur fight again.
Okay. And what gym are you with right
I'm
now?
with Ronin Training Center.
Okay. Okay. And is that like a big known gym, or is that like a small gym over for MMA, or do they have like any pro fighters coming out of there now, or is it
Yeah,
all
we
amateur?
uh we have Travis Davis. He just fought on the last Ohio Combat League show. We have Dan Spawn who's fighting in the upcoming season of the PFL. And
Oh, okay.
there's a bunch of people out of Vernon. It's a pretty big gym.
Okay. Travis, that sounds. What was his name? Travis what?
Davis.
Oh, you know what? I might be thinking of that other guy. There was a Travis that was on the Ultimate Fighter. He was just recently on Joe Rogan for show. And then there's another guy, Travis Stevens, but that's like a judo guy.
Yeah.
Who I wish would do MMA. I think he would do pretty good. He's a big guy. But so what do you like more? Do you like the striking or do you like the grappling more?
Honestly, I love the striking more than the wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Now
mean,
do
wrestling's
you
a grind, but I mean, I like the striking because it's way more fun.
okay. Now are you more of a boxer or more of a Thai fighter, or like which do you prefer?
More of a
Kicking, punching?
kickboxing Thai fighter. I use my
Okay.
stance to set up my kicks.
Okay. Okay. And then how do you occupy your day? Like, do you work like a part-time job while you're putting yourself through the training? Because I know it's rough for MMA fighters because it's not like they're getting paid to put their body through the punishment that they put themselves through.
Yeah, I used to have a job. I actually just recently got fired.
Oh, sorry to
But
hear that, man. Hey, I've been there too,
no, it's
man. I
all
got
right.
laid off. I got laid off during COVID, so I bounced back though. Got another job afterwards. Yeah. Well, was it a job that you hated, or was it like
Yeah, I
did you
mean,
like
I hated it. It's just because I'd have to work from 7 a.m. to 4, and then it's just like, but I would get up at 3 in the morning, do my strength conditioning, then go to work, get off work, and go train again, and then come home and
it?
go to sleep.
That's discipline. Now, theoretically, you probably could have done it all after work. Like it may,
Yeah,
I'm not a morning person. Like, hopefully, no people from work hear this, but like me, I struggle. Like, I normally get up at 8:30 during the week, right? I start work at 9 because I work from home. I just recently started getting up at 8 to take my dog for a walk because it's starting to get warmer out. But I only take him out. I don't want to have to walk him after work so I can do my workouts. But is it because you did it that way because you like to spend the whole rest of your day doing MMA training? Because I would, if it was me, I would have like, as soon as I got off work, I would have went to the gym, did my running, and then do your MMA thing. But I don't know what the hours of the gym, because some of those gyms, I think they kind of close early, right? They're probably not open really late, right?
Yeah, they close pretty early.
Yeah, so that's probably what. Wow, man, that's discipline. Getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning before work. And how long was your commute to work at that time?
It was only like 15 minutes.
So you do that? Holy shit, dude! Did you have a lot of coffee in the morning?
Yeah, I was using this pre-workout called Muscle Feast, and it had like 300 milligrams of caffeine. I would just do a scoop of that with some beetroot juice, and that'd be my pre-workout.
What's that
I'd be
called?
just
Muscle?
shaking.
What was it? Muscle feed?
Yeah, they're based out of Nashport, Ohio, I think.
You there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah. What was it called? Muscle Feast?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down. I like to like look for alternatives to Coca-Cola for my caffeine, because I'm not a coffee drinker. I drink Coca-Cola or green tea. But I like to get tips when people tell me there's something. So that actually woke you up, that Muscle Feast?
Oh yeah, it wakes me up like insane.
Really? And do you shake? Because I remember in college we used to take these caffeine pills, but it would it would really mess your body up. Like your body would be like shaking. You get the shakes from it?
I used at the beginning when I first started using it, yeah, but then it just like I my body adjusted to taking it all the time, and I stopped the shakes and everything, and there's not really a crash on it when you use it either, which is good.
Wow, that's good to know, man. It's good. Now, if you had to compare yourself to a well-known fighter, in the UFC or Bellator or whatever, like who would you compare your fighting style to?
I mean, based off my last fight, the commentators called me the modern day Uriah Faber, which I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
yeah, I
Right?
mean, I'll
It's
just go with that.
very you can't go wrong being, named after him, right? He's like a legend in
Yeah,
the sport, man.
yeah, he really is a legend.
Yeah. And you know what? He could still move, right? Considering
Yeah,
all the years of damage he took. I don't know if you watched any of his fights. Like when they had the WEC, I never really watched it when it was live and current, because I was so used into the UFC, and I think they had him on the same time or something back then. But they would show him later on some local channel. They would have like show the repeats. I don't know if you ever seen one of his championship fights, like the one he lost to. I think the guy's name was Matt Brown. Matt Brown, who's like the American top team coach now. Did you ever see that fight?
he fought
I
Mike Brown.
Yeah, Matt Brown. Is it Matt or Mike Brown? The guy from the American top team, the little
Yeah, it's
short guy.
Mike.
Yeah, he fought him twice. And what was amazing, I don't know if you ever saw it, but I'll just give you why. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best fights ever, because Uriah Faber broke both his hands, and he would use his elbows the way people would use their hands for a jab or a cross. To this day, I've never seen anybody that diverse. He was holding, defending the takedowns and everything. He just lost because the guy, just got a few more shots in him. But the fact that I think he broke the one hand in the second or first round, and then the other hand he broke in the third round. So I can't even explain how he used his elbows. But I have never, in my opinion, everybody's like saying like John Jones is the best ever. Uriah Faber hasn't captured a title in the UFC, but if anybody were to see that fight, in my opinion, he's the best all around fighter, like well rounded fighter ever. Because I've never
Yeah,
seen anybody use elbows like that. Using your elbow as a jab, like most people grab the head and throw some elbow shots. Maybe they go up like this, down. No, man, he was using it as a jab. He was spinning elbows. very, very well talented and athletic individual, you know. So to be compared to him, man, I'd be holding your head up. You know, if I were you, I'd be holding my head up high. You know, that's great. That's great. Now, do you know who you're fighting in your next fight, or you just don't know? You just wait till a couple weeks before.
We normally get our opponent information about a month out. So here in a few weeks, I'll have my opponent's information and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, do you guys watch videotapes on the guy, like, or no?
Yeah,
You guys
I
like,
love to do my research, try and find holes in his game, try and find tendencies of what he does, and try to find where he's weak at, see how his conditioning looks.
okay. Now, how were you when you won in wrestling? Did you like do well in that too? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, I mean, I was all right. I wasn't the best, but I was pretty good. I mean, when I wrestled in college, I made it to regionals, and then once you wrestle at regionals, then you go to nationals. I was a match away from the NJCA tournament, so
Well, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, wrestling's a hard sport, man. I wish I did that when I was younger. Yeah. So that's cool. Now, do you have any strategy in place to when and how you're going to turn pro? Like, do you have like a game plan? Like, put aside the COVID situation. Let's say there was no COVID. Do you have like a plan? Like, all right, I'm going to do like 1 or 2 more amateur fights, then turn pro, and then when I turn pro, I plan to fight in this particular organization, and then one day hopefully work up to this other organization. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you plan to do?
Well, before I turn professional, I'd like to fight like different body types because all of my fights I fought wrestlers and boxers. My next fight, we're trying to find someone who's a jiu-jitsu guy to get me a different look. That way, when I go pro, I'm used to seeing different looks and I can adjust even better and fight during the fights too.
Okay. Yeah, I would think you should be able to find some jiu-jitsu guys. I'm surprised that you haven't. Yeah,
Everybody wants to wrestle.
that's weird. Yeah, because I would think that everybody would be like well-rounded now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta be able to fight off your back nowadays if you get put there. But what I've noticed lately, I don't know if you notice, it's the days of people getting submitted are very few and far between, at least from the guy's guard, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because people are getting better at being on top, or people who are doing jiu-jitsu are not focusing that much on jiu-jitsu because they're trying to be more well-rounded and everything. You know, I just haven't figured that out. I mean, I know it's, you know, nowadays it's not like that much of a threat being in someone's guard anymore as it used to be. You know, you get someone puts you in your guard, people are used to smashing the guy underneath them, so it's not the as dominant as it once. And unless you're like Charles Oliveira, right? He's like one of the few guys that's really good on off his back. All right, so now you're looking. So your goal is to get a few more fights, get different looks. Now, do you have your sights set on like a particular organization for when you turn pro? Like before you go to the big show, or like is there like a regional pro circuit that you're looking for?
Not really. I mean, I'm just gonna let my coaches pick me, tell me who to fight. That's the way I roll. I don't really.
Okay.
I'll fight anybody. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Well, that's good though. You got that one guy that's in the PFL.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to. I'm probably like one of the few guys that actually talk about the PFL on my podcast. Everybody's always about the UFC, and then that's usually what they focus on, and occasionally do Bellator. But I like the PFL because I like the tournament format. As a fan, I think it's like a unique concept because you can follow each week. Just like I don't follow any other sports. Like I hate baseball, football. I was never into those sports. I like combat sports. This is the way I was. So, but I do like the fact that they got that format. You know, like the people make it to the semifinals and the final, and then they got the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing for the people who fighting it and they win that belt because they get $1 million, which I think is very generous. I don't know how they pull it off because from what I'm hearing, shows aren't that big. I guess maybe they get a lot of money from ESPN because they're on the same channel that the UFC is. But I like for me, if I was an MMA fighter right now, that would probably be my go-to goal.
Yeah.
Then I hate to say it, than the UFC. I would rather get that $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I like it and I follow. I plan this year to be doing to follow it more and talk about it more on my podcast. But that I think that would be a good avenue because if you already got one teammate that's in there, that could be your hook in there, right? Like your gym can hook you up and get in there, you know. And yeah, so I think that'd be good for you. Now, if people who are watching this, or well, this is streaming live now, but when they watch it, or if they listen to it in a podcast format, if someone, a promoter, or someone that want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for someone to get in touch with you? Do you have like a website or a Facebook page or?
They could follow me on Instagram or shoot me a message on there at Shockin Rock with an underscore at the end.
Okay.
And then just look me up as Asher Frederick on Facebook and send me a message on there.
Okay, so that's good. So everybody, there you go. We got a nice up and coming young stud, Raya Faber caliber fighter here. So if any promoters watching and they need somebody to fight on their show, or if there's a sponsor out there that's looking for a prospect to help boost their product and their brand, this guy is the guy for you. Asher, it was great having you on the show. Hopefully we can have you back on in the future, hopefully after your next fight, so we can chat about that, see how that goes. And for everybody listening to this and watching this show, don't forget to follow me on YouTube. That's Marc The Shark MMA Show on the YouTube channel, Marc The Shark MMA Show on Facebook, and also Marc_Ritorto on Instagram. And again, it's Marc with a C. Don't forget to go to the website, buy some hoodies and t-shirts there to help support podcast or give a donation there. And sponsors, we're always looking for sponsors. If you want to get your name out there, run ads either on my podcast or on my YouTube channel, let me know. And again, Asher, it was great having you. And everybody, keep following us and keep checking us out. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. But first, a word from our sponsors.
During World War II, I was in prison in a Nazi camp. I died there, or so I thought. Instead, I became a creature of the dark world. Now I fight to protect my daughter. I am Marcus the Vampire. The book is now available at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and RitortoFamilyBooks.com.
All right, guys, this week's episode is done on a live show. But if you happen to be listening to this in the podcast format, keep listening because there's more content to follow. All right, guys, see you guys next week.